The nightmares emanating from the forex situation in the country seems not to be abating as the Bureau de Change operators called for an emergency meeting this Monday morning with concerns on how to force down the rate in the parallel market.
So margin of 2 naira we feel is still small. So let the CBN review that margin. That's one of our resolutions, to at least 10 naira per dollar.
Welcome to Business Nigeria. I am Tolulokpe Ogunjobi. A warm welcome to you again. Now, overnight lending rate in the Nigerian money market has risen by 2.5% after the Central Bank of Nigeria debited bank for debt purchases, draining liquidity in the system. The overnight lending rate increased to 14.5% on Friday, up from 12% at the start of the week. The Central Bank of Nigeria had debited bank accounts for cash payments for dollars and treasury bills. The Apex Bank sold around $250 million forwards at a special auction and an undisclosed amount at the spot market in a bid to improve dollar liquidity in support of the naira. The sales drew liquidity out in the money market and pushed up interest rates. The Central Bank of Nigeria has reaffirmed its commitment to sustaining its intervention in the foreign exchange market. This is to ensure liquidity in that segment of the financial sector. The Acting Director, Corporate Communications, Central Bank of Nigeria, Isaac Okorafor, stated this in a statement issued in Abuja. He said as part of its determination to make Forex available to genuine users, the Apex Bank on Friday auctioned the sum of $418 million as the retail segment, or at the retail segment, or at the rate of 310 naira to the dollar. He gave the sectors of the economy that benefited from the intervention as aviation, agriculture, petroleum and raw materials, and machineries. Well, meanwhile, the Association of the Bureau de Change Operators of Nigeria, that's APCON, they met earlier today and they're discussing on ways to kind of force down the exchange rate in the parallel market. The emergency meeting, which held this morning, followed last week sudden depreciation of the naira against the dollar. The president of the association, Aminu Gwadabe, says the development was against the interest of the BDCs and the economy at large.
The BDCs from the resolution have resolved to ensure that they challenge the spike and volatility in the foreign exchange market. Soon we will cooperate with the Central Bank of Nigeria, as we always do, to see that we narrow the gap between the parallel market and also the official market. We are looking at a very, very acceptable target. You know, there are a lot of pressures, even from the IMF. The IMF say our naira is overvalued. There are pressures from speculators, there are pressures from black market operators, there are pressures from people that carry hot money. All this is happening in the market and it's really driving the rate. But we are looking at a very, very acceptable margin between the official and the parallel market rate. Like say maybe max, it should not be more than 5%. This market is driven by sentiment. And we're here to tell them we're ready to ensure that the market is liquid. We're sure to enhance the liquidity in the market. We're sure to advise compliance and on regulatory requirement. So definitely our message will reach the market, and we are sure with the support of our members, we are going to do it well. By the time we close the day today, we'll begin to see the impact of this meeting.
Well, with me in the studio to discuss more is the market analyst, Mukhtar Mohammed. Thank you for joining us, Mukhtar.
Always a pleasure being here.
Well, all of this, because I'm still going to start with the Forex issue, is to narrow down this gap, this disparity between the official rate and the parallel market rate.
Yeah.
Looking at what the president of the Bureau de Change Operators have just said, what do you make of it?
Well, I don't know what he's trying to say. He's in business to make money, so he really wants to be in business, and all he wants to do is to keep getting those type of capital appreciation that they usually get. And I think if you are going to be depending on the CBN, then he that pays the piper dictates the tune. If the CBN is saying this is the range you have to sell, I think you have to oblige. But when it comes to if they had to sort for it the individual like they did before, where the rate went so high, when CBN was not intervening in the market, they were busy sorting for their own dollars and sell to the general public, people that has need of it, then I don't see why they should regulate the price. But now this is our own currency that will be earned from our own reserve, from our oil. So I don't see why they should begin to dictate to us at a maximum of 10 naira. And I keep asking, what does it take to become a member of the Bureau de Change? What does it take to own a Bureau de Change? What value do you add in the product of the naira? Or what value do you add in the dollar? That now we will now be thinking of an exchange rate of 10%. What is the general contribution of the Bureau de Change in the GDP of Nigeria? How many Nigerians are being employed by the Bureau de Change? Why should the Bureau de Change become the determining factor on the exchange rate? I think all by this is back to inaptitude in the system, corruption in the system, lack of ideas from our monetary committee and financial institution. We should practice it. If we want to become a global player, we want to be competitive, like we say we want to be, based on the economic recovery plan, then we need to begin to do things like global citizen, global business. And in global business and being a global citizen, things like this don't happen in a civilized economy.
Well, the Bureau de Change, because I've had lots of interfaces with them, and they've always argued that they are located at some nooks and crannies, some places where you don't have banks, some places where you can't, where you need them, you know, and they are there, you know. So they are saying that even advanced countries do have Bureau de Change operators. Maybe they are well regulated, I don't, you know, but they are saying that they have their role to play. Yeah. I'm talking about the BDC. We have over 3,000 of them, according to them, registered. Look, so you know, it's
look, when you travel all over the world, there are strategic places you get Bureau de Change. You don't see them, they look on screen of every side. You go to one street, you see them calling you dollar, dollar, dollar. That's not the way it's practiced internationally. Internationally, when you're a Bureau de Change operator, you operate from the international point, which are the airports. You don't see them scattered all around cities. They have a place that they operate from, mostly, especially in the airports. That's where Bureau de Change should be located, not located between, even in hotels that you have Bureau de Change, they have a standard Bureau de Change that is located in the hotel premises, because that's where you have the international people coming to lodge. So, but if you go to Nigerian hotel, even big hotel, do you see Bureau de Change operator located in a strategic place? No, you just see them roaming around looking for who will change. No, that's not the way it's operated. So if you say it about that now, that's what the CBN is about to do. That's what the CBN should be doing, to make sure that banks are more, Bureau de Change cannot tell me they have more network expansion than the banks in Nigeria. And moreover, again, for safety, it's better to go to the bank, you do your exchange rate. In a civilized society, you collect your money, you do whatever you want to do, and transfer to whatever means inside the bank to save yourself of risks of moving your currency from one point to another. That's how it's done internationally. You don't go to move money, you are telling me you are more spray. I don't know how spray you are than the banking sector, than the banks that are located in every nook and cranny of Nigeria.
Okay, Mukhtar, now another thing which they identified is the issue of margins. But you were saying that he would dictate the piper, you know. But we here. Let's look at, since we still use the Bureau de Change operators. They've not been sidelined. Now, I think there should be some considerations. Look, if we are to bring down this currency.
The CBN is working to bring down the rate. The CBN have identified what caused the high in the rates in the market. And they have looked at the PTA, they have looked at the school fees, they have looked at the traveling allowance, traveling allowance. They have looked at this and said, these are the places that cause this volatility, and they are addressing it. Now, the Bureau de Change is now an end user for those people that think the traveling allowance of $4,000 is not enough for them, because CBN can only allocate you $4,000. So those are the people that find their way now to the Bureau de Change. And again, like he rightly pointed out, there are hot money people that actually give Bureau de Change some of this money at a high interest rate. So they need to look at themselves and begin to tell themselves the truth. How can we be competitive? Because what we are driving towards now is an open market, whereby very soon prices will not be determined by the CBN. That's what the CBN is trying to work towards a margin, whereby market forces begin to determine price. So you can't begin to set margin for them, because CBN to have said your margin of 2 naira, you should ask yourself, CBN must have done their calculation and said, look, you can have a margin of 2 naira because we are the one producing it. We are the one, the market as it stands is still regulated. The naira is not yet floating, so the Bureau de Change cannot begin to determine for them what even the bank cannot even determine for CBN how much they want as the margin rate.
Before we go on this break now, sustainability, sustaining this policy is worrisome. Analysts like you have also argued that. Do you see the central bank sustaining it?
Look, I've said it and I'll say it again. What we are doing now is what we've always done. And they said if you keep doing the same thing all over and expect a different result, that means you are insane. What we are doing now, what the CBN is doing now is just pumping money into the market, pumping money into the market. That's what we've been doing with our reserves since. That's what we are still doing. We have not changed. But I believe the CBN is doing this now to stabilize the exchange rate and to try and fight the monster core inflation. After that, I think they will begin to look at the long-lasting solution. For me, this is a short-gap measure to try to stabilize it. So the long-last solution to this problem is diversification of our economy. Diversification, where this is some of the things that the CBN is working on. And I believe sooner or later, they will get it right. But what they are doing now, for me, is just a fire brigade approach to bring down the price, to make sure that the difference between the parallel market and the official market is not much. After that, I think they should begin to work out for a long-term solution. Otherwise, we could always do, because by the time the oil price falls below 50 to 53, we'll begin to have shortages in our foreign reserve, and we'll go back to the panic system.
Mukhtar, we're still going to be talking more with regards to Forex situation, and when we're going to go on a break, and when we come back, we're going to be comparing the Egyptian story, their Forex markets, the country's situation with that of Nigeria as it stands, particularly with regards to Forex policy and other economic issues. Stay with us on the show. It promises to be interesting. I still have Mukhtar here. We'll be right back. Thank you for staying tuned, and I still have with me the market analyst and also financial analyst Mukhtar Mohammed here. We'll be looking at issues surrounding the Nigerian economy. But right now, we're going to take it a little bit away now from Egypt, looking at the Egyptian story, the devaluation, other issues surrounding the Egyptian currency, that's Egyptian pound, and the economy, even the exchange rate and all of that. Mukhtar will be putting more inside. Now, Mukhtar, I want us to start this way. A lesson from a new beginning for Egypt. There's been lots of issues surrounding the economy after the political issues and all of that. And now they're actually getting it right. What did they do that we're not doing here?
Well, the right is relative. Egyptians are getting it right because they are working the IMF policy. Remember, the IMF told them that, look, for them to have access to $12 billion grant for the next 3 years, they will have to devalue their currency. And they did devalue by almost 48%. They devalued their currency by almost 48%. So that was where, at that devaluation, immediately they announced that devaluation, their bonus, and they begin to attract foreign investors. You need to look at the Egyptian situation that at the point, you can compare the Egyptian situation with the Nigerian situation. What actually was driving people out of the Egyptian market was, one, the terrorism, and then the attack that was coming in, even attack of the aviation companies, mostly the plane crash that were coming that were linked to terrorists. So, and you know, Egypt gets their high earnings, the earnings from tourism. So that affected them. So they needed to begin to attract the foreign exchange. And they actually did exactly what we are doing now as Nigeria. They did the regulatory thing. You cannot withdraw more than this amount. You cannot even travel with so amount. You cannot. So at that time, what really happened to Nigeria began to play out there. The black market rate was going high. But immediately they had the rumor that they were going to devalue, and also IMF is going to pump in $12 billion in the next 3 years. The rate crashed from about 18 to 13 within 24 hours. Now, they started with that. They know that it's a pain that they have to go through to be able to stabilize and begin to attract the foreign investment they want. They really want to grow the economy. Now, relating that to Nigeria, remember Nigeria we're already attracting it through the Eurobond. We've attracted up to about, the first one was a tranche about six, is it, I can't remember, then the second tranche also. So we have attracted foreign exchange with that already, and that we are putting into our infrastructure. Now remember, there's a 30 billion loan that I want to collect for World Bank. but we have not been able to meet those conditions. So we are still striving on the same route with them. Remember also just that they were having their own challenge with terrorists. They were not able to defend their currency. We were having our own challenge with the oil vandalization. So we're not able, and then the volatility in the oil market. Now, when you look at us and there now, you realize that there's a little bit stability in the oil sector, especially in terms of vandalization and in the oil prices going up. So when you look at it, comparison, we can't particularly tie Nigeria to Egypt. We could see the similarity in this one, but the approach that we approach it is similar. But in terms of the liquidity to control it, I think we are on a better scale than the Egyptian.
Indeed, because I can see some of those challenges are also similar. Like they had problems with repatriation of profits, you know, by some companies, the exchange rate volatility, political risks, and all of that. But floating the pound, which I think they did, we're not doing that here.
You see, when you say the Egyptian floats the pound, it's not that they float the pound 100%.
Okay.
What they did was like this, they devalued at 48%. Even at that devaluation, even at the beginning of 2017, IMF was still telling them, other international donors was still telling them that Egypt may have to devalue again. You know, the challenge with devaluation is that if you don't devalue at the right time, then you have to have challenges. Now, how are they using it? The $12 billion that is coming from the IMF is helping to cushion the effect that it will have, because what is causing them is that they were not able to import goods inside because of shortage of dollar. So the same scenario that we're having here in Nigeria. But now they were able to address it with the loan that they got from IMF at a very low interest rate. So when you look at it, if you look at the way we are handling our house now we are handling ours because our liquidity has improved. And again, remember, we did the Eurobond, which they did not do. So when you look at how much we are able to capture from the Eurobond already, that is already in our own system and listed in our bond, that is the Nigerian Stock Exchange, they did not do that. So we are using a tool. Then remember, the 30 billion loan that we want to collect from World Bank is still pending. But they are on the condition for them to give, for IMF to give them that 12 billion that was for them to devalue. So remember, Nigeria is not accessing the 30 billion that we want from World Bank because there are certain conditions that the World Bank wants us to meet that we are unable to meet. One of those conditions was a clear-cut economic policy on how to get out of recession and how this money will be spent. Thank God the economic recovery plan is around there. It's more or less like a roadmap on the economy, but I think with that now, the presidency will be able to go back to the National Assembly for approval and in turn submit this draft proposal to the World Bank. Then we could see an injection of $30 billion into the Nigerian economy not long from now, and which the payment period and the interest rate is actually very long. So we are getting there, but what we are doing now, we are doing a stopgap approach, trying to sort it out in our own way so that we don't get the exchange rate so volatile and so high that at the time we get this money again, instead of using it in development of infrastructure, we'll be using it to defend our currency.
Indeed, because another similar, you know, Egypt is also a country that depends on imports so very well. Well, IMF has also said lately that even the Naira is overvalued. You know, it's overpriced, overvalued. That becomes worrisome. And it's because when you say that at this time, I don't know what that means and what should be the direct lesson for Nigeria from the Egyptian story.
You see, we need to own our economy. We need to manage our economy. The IMF cannot love the economy more than Nigerians will love their economy. Now, whether we devalue, even if they say there was say 500 Naira to the dollar, the IMF at that time said they were shouting at that time was that the parallel market rate and the official rate was too wide. Now, we are trying to narrow the gap. They are saying again that the devaluation, the Naira is overpriced. So I keep asking myself, when will the Naira be well priced? So it's all about, IMF is out there to defend some certain interests. That's why some countries will say we will never accept IMF to bring it into our economy. I think what we have to do is what we are doing now. We are doing it well. The oil market is improving. Things are working for us because with the current tension between the United States and Russia as regards Syria, it's going to help somehow. If that tension is not curtailed now, it's going to help somehow bring OPEC oil price high. So now, as it stands now, oil price is still going up at 52 to 53. That is the minimum rate it's standing. So it's still good for us. So we have the liquidity. So, and I don't know, after we begin, this rate goes up and we have robust reserve, I want to see what IMF will say again. So for me, I think we have devalued the Naira, we have battered the Naira. Remember, this same IMF were telling us at a particular time, whereby the price in the oil market was 30 Naira to the barrel of oil, that the Naira should be adequately priced at 250 Naira. Now the price of oil in the international market is 52 Naira, and the dollar to the Naira is priced at 300 and something Naira, and yet you are telling us we are overpriced.
Dr. Amos, thank you so much for your time on the show. It's always nice having you on the show.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you for your time. Well, almost finally now, fresh evidence has emerged linking Shell Petroleum Company to intense lobby with money to get the controversial Malabo oil fields. A BBC report says that the top officials at Shell were aware of money passed onto some Nigerian officials in pursuit of the oil fields. The report reveals that OPL 245 oil fields off the coast of Nigeria, with estimated 9 billion barrels of oil, are worth nearly $500 billion at today's prices. Shell said it did not believe its employees acted illegally. Priscilla Wankbok, a public affairs analyst, spoke to us earlier on the issue.
Naturally, Shell are lobbying intensely for these fields because, you know, they're lucrative fields, and it just adds more to Shell's growth, and it's just for the sake of furthering business on the part of Shell. Where the report is suggesting that you know, their money has passed hands and that Shell officials have paid money, there's a possibility that that would have happened, and Shell's denial that that wasn't the case, it's nothing new. With contracts like these, and when we're looking at the nature of this type of business, you would find that across the world, most countries will say that they were lobbying for it. And indeed, lobbyists are paid. They're paid to be able to carry out their jobs. But then they have, you know, names like lobbying, whereas we may not utilize those terms on the same level in Nigeria. And therefore, when we now describe it, when it's now being described as a bribe, then it comes, you know, somebody can hold up their hand and say, oh no, we are not engaging in bribery here. You know, it's something completely different. And you know, whether or not their deal is to sabotage Nigeria's interest, this is where the Nigerian officials, government of Nigeria, and those who have the responsibility, the power and the ability to make decisions concerning what is good for Nigerians. This is a role, this is a position, this is where they are supposed to be making those contributions and ensuring that whatever deal is made where the Nigerian oil is concerned should have contents where the Nigerian people should benefit a lot more than what the Nigerian people have benefited over the years. And so I think it's a responsibility for the Nigerian government to ensure that whatever the content of this deal is, it must make sure that, I mean, after all these years, perhaps we could say that Nigeria was naive in the first place in the 60s because this was fairly new then. But after all these years, Nigeria ought to, or Nigerian officials ought to be on the ball and have the understanding and should know what really should be better for Nigerians and what really, what kind of contract they should be negotiating on behalf of Nigerians. It will be a pity if Nigeria cannot negotiate a contract today that has a greater benefit to Nigerians and to especially those who are within these regions where this oil is coming from. I think this is an opportunity for the Nigerian government to right some wrongs, to utilize this opportunity to agree contracts that will benefit those individuals and ensure that these oil companies pay for that and not something that these people are left wanting when they exist in wealth.
Well, this is where we wrap it up today on Business Nigeria. We hope you join us another time for more insightful business analysis. On behalf of the entire production crew, I am Tolulokpe Ogunjobi. I'll leave you with the figures of the exchange rate as it stands today. Bye for now.